Good morning. It is Tuesday, August the 6th. Um, you know, I wasn't going to do a live stream today, but with all this shit going on, I just had to do a video on it. Um, Americans they're being manipulated and they're being conned, and they're being influenced to believe things that aren't legitimate, with all these uh, terrorist attacks going on and these shootings. Um, we don't know what the real narrative is. We don't know why these people are committing these crimes. And frankly, I'm just going to say it. I think our government's behind a lot of these false flags. And I think the media is colluding with them. They're pushing out whatever narrative that the government says, and they're, you know, telling their base to not question it. And I think everything should be questioned. I think everything should be researched. And I'm seeing a lot of narratives saying, "Oh, you can't call out Israel, or you can't call out the U.S., or you're not a true American, or you're anti-Jewish if you call out genocide." And frankly, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what anybody wants to label me. Um, I have no issue with any other group of people um, in regard to who they are. It's what they do that matters. It's Israel's um, persecution of the Palestinian people that I have an issue with. So I am, I'm noticing a lot of mainstream media narratives saying and U.S. motives, like they're trying to push laws that are like anti-terrorism laws that are just going to end up taking more of our rights away. There's fucking balloons in the sky filming us and documenting where we're going, what we're doing. They're already in our electronics. They're already watching us, listening to us on their phones and their computers. They have virtually all the information they would need to ever stop any terrorist in advance. So, and these political candidates, and they're pushing for more of our rights to be taken away. And they are so tricky, and they're so good and manipulative at what they do. They make people happy about our rights being taken away. And that's, one of the big reasons why I don't vote, is because they're just manipulative fucking liars. And, let me read you this. What I'm seeing in the media, like Yahoo, CNN, and all the establishment media, even on the right side, they're not portraying the facts, especially in regard to things called conspiracy theories. They try and discredit us. And I'll tell you right now, I believe QAnon is a psyop. It is definitely government created. And they're trying to, this is how I've been calling out QAnon since the very beginning. I don't think I've ever shared anything from QAnon. I think I may have put up with it a lot of my timeline when it first started, because I was trying to be understanding with people. They are free to research what they want to research, but I don't want to fucking legitimize it by having it on my timeline. So they're using QAnon, like the government and the mainstream media, they're using QAnon to discredit people who actually research on their own and research government crimes like Pizzagate, Pedowood, whatever you want to call it. And it does there are some validity. There is validity to it. I'm working on a project right now of connecting all the people in Hollywood and government that have been guilty and found guilty of crimes against children, trafficking children. If you read the Podesta emails, there's a lot of pedophilia code terms in there, and I'm not a right-winger. So the mainstream media, I know in the long term, they're going to mislabel those. They're already doing it, mislabeling people who are investigating actual crimes that are not right-wingers, and we're going to be lumped in with those people. So, that's why I don't encourage the QAnon, because they're using something that's not credible, which is QAnon, and they're associating it with things that are credible, so people won't want to pay attention to it. There was a new document by the FBI that was released that was calling conspiracy theorists terrorists, essentially. Now, I know that the Pentagon has previously referred to low-level activism as terrorists as well. So this is not the first time that hypocritical psychopaths within our government are trying to discredit activists and people who question the narrative, and then lump them in with people they're not associated with, such as white supremacy and all that. Those two are not necessarily related in any way. They're trying to relate that so people won't pay attention to Pizzagate. And, frankly, I have to say this: if you're more if you care more about pushing whatever the TV tells you to push, and you're willing to risk that saying Pizzagate's not real, and you're willing to continue to turn a blind eye to child trafficking, you're no revolutionary. You're no free thinker. I think those people are more terrorists than those who research. Okay. I just can't imagine anybody. I think the main reason here that they feel it's okay to just ignore this is because they have been brainwashed. They have been indoctrinated to believe what the mainstream media says, and what the government says. And it is hard. It's hard to break out of that mentality that, your government's out to hurt you, but I think it's really important that people know, that's why I've stopped voting. That's why we started Obstruct the Vote and become ungovernable, because anybody of rational mind and has done their research is not going to legitimize this system. And that includes the mainstream media. That means calling them out, like I am today, and saying that people who investigate Pizzagate are usually not right-wingers. I know a lot of people who call out Pizzagate and call out human trafficking, and they don't legitimize the system. So when you see that, you have to call that out, because, we're almost powerless against the mainstream media because people are so fucking complacent with allowing this to continue. This article says, the FBI has pegged conspiracy theory-driven domestic extremists as a terrorist threat for the U.S., raising questions about legal implications for websites where fringe groups now sow these conspiracies. So they're already starting. See, I told you guys this. When they went after Assange for publishing the U.S. war crimes, they're gonna come after us, and this is already proof. I mean, we knew the censorship was coming after us. The government was connecting with Facebook. That was already released in the Podesta emails, that they worked to help elect Hillary Clinton, who actually is a terrorist. And I know if you are one of those people who voted for her and you're in this illusion that she's a real feminist, you're fucking delusional, frankly, and you haven't done your research. And I know that may be hard to hear, but you need to hear it. Like, I wish that when I supported Bernie Sanders, I wish someone had told me that I was fucking delusional, because I maybe wouldn't have wasted so much time legitimizing a fraud. And bringing up, hold on, somebody's messaging me. Bringing up Bernie Sanders, I want to pull up this tweet, August 5th of this year. Bernie Sanders says, most of my father's family was brutally murdered at the hand of Hitler's white supremacist regime, a regime which came to power on a wave of violence and hatred against racial and religious minorities. We cannot allow that cancer to grow here. Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. You are a fraud. You push a narrative, and I don't know, you push a false narrative, and I don't know whether that you're mentally brainwashed or whether you're just completely corrupt like Soros and Hillary. I don't know. I can't really say. I can definitely say that your position of power within the Democratic Party and within our Congress needs to go. I think you are scum, and it's not because of your religion or race or anything like that. It's because you're a liar, and you're a manipulator, and you're a propagandist, and you're pushing a narrative that's just not factually true. Yes, white supremacy does exist, and you are part of that white supremacy. You are part of the problem. You are a part of the system. You are the system. And you are worse than most of them. And I'll tell you why. Because you made people believe that you were going to fight Hillary Clinton, that you were going to fight Wall Street. And then I read in the fucking emails, that was your part to play from the very beginning. You had an agreement with Hillary Clinton, a terrorist, okay? And I consider you a terrorist as well. You promote the white helmets. I saw a picture of you hugging a white helmet, okay? Calling out Israel for their genocidal policies is not anti-Semitism. Period. I support BDS. You obviously don't, because you legitimize this corrupt system. You legitimize the anti-free speech narratives. You legitimize anti-free speech laws. Okay? Free speech means free speech for everyone, not just people who you agree with. Okay? That's why I don't call for the silencing of mainstream media. They're liars. They're propagandists. They create false narratives. They support the government unjustly. They push lies for the government unjustly. They say whatever their scripts say, whatever their investors say for them to say, and you legitimize it. I don't know how many times all of your supporters, the ones that defected like me and left you because we realized who you were, Bernie, and you continue to push the Russiagate. You continue to divide the American people. White supremacy from low-level Trump supporters is not ruining this country. They're bigots, and they're probably going to die bigots. A lot of them are, okay? But you know what hurts people of color more than Trump supporters? You, our government, slave labor within our prisons for profit. The person you fucking endorsed for the presidency more than once had slave labor at the White House. Look it up. I'm sick of this lying. I'm sick of it. And that's why I don't vote anymore. I don't participate in this shit. I don't use my hard-earned time and money to legitimize this system. You know what's a cancer that's growing here? It's Bernie Sanders and his fucking fraud of a revolution. They're using all of these terrorist attacks to amp up people, to get them motivated to get into the voting booth. That's what this is. And not only that, but maybe even to convince other citizens to support martial law, to support the ending of free speech. And it's fucking disgusting, and it's only going to get worse. You know? So it says the FBI assesses these conspiracy theories will very likely emerge, spread, and evolve in modern information marketplace, occasionally driving both groups and individual extremists to carry out violent acts. Okay. The FBI can fuck off. I expose Pedogate and Pizzagate, whatever you want to call it. I report about that, and I have been very adamant. And everybody that I know has never advocated for violence, ever. So this false narrative that people who question the government will carry out violent acts, that's just not fucking true. And it's offensive. And they're trying to convince people to not question. They're trying to lump people who really expose government crimes and don't legitimize the fucking system. And they're trying to lump us in with fucking QAnons and fucking U.S. government legitimizers, people who think that like President Trump's going to give a shit about ending child trafficking, and they're not. Trump doesn't give a fuck. That is his circle. It's a big club and you're not in it, and you shouldn't want to be. Because those people, they manipulate us, they abuse us, and they're using us against each other to distract us so we don't rebel. And we must rebel now. That's why, check out Obstruct the Vote. Check out what it means to really become ungovernable. It does not mean violence. That's all. I'll talk to you guys later.